That in itself, as Jay Shadler now reports, is something that could hardly have been imagined.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're examining 10 creepy coincidences that will make you paranoid.
What happens next would give fodder to a century of conspiracy theorists.
The War Car. In June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife, Sophie, Duchess of Oenberg, were assassinated by Gavrilo Princip. This event is seen as the trigger that sparked World War I. From that day, the couple's Greff und Stift touring vehicle became a prize piece in museums. But it wasn't until 2004, when UK national Brian Presland visited the car in Vienna, Austria, that things got strange. He noticed the vehicle's original license plate of AIII-118 was a bizarre coincidence. The numerals and numbers could be interpreted as November 11, 1918, while the letter A in English could stand for armistice, making it the day the Great War ended. Wrestling Wiki. In June 2007, WWE wrestler Chris Benoit committed a horrific crime.
At this time, no one knew what happened, so WWE is just thinking that Chris Benoit has passed away, along with Nancy and Daniel.
Around 14 hours before the police arrived at Benoit's property, his wiki page was edited. It claimed the wrestler had been replaced at an upcoming WWE event with another wrestler after his wife Nancy's death. To make it weirder, the IP address of the anonymous editor was located where the WWE's headquarters are, in Stamford, Connecticut. A second update to the post had their IP in Australia. As people began to pick up on this, the secret Connecticut editor reportedly made a statement claiming they had seen rumors online about Nancy and posted that on the page. They described it all as a huge, quote, coincidence.
No matter what happened that weekend, Chris Benoit's story was going to have a tragic end.
Booth brother. The family name Booth doesn't exactly have a positive connection to the Lincoln lineage, considering what happened on that fateful day in 1865 when John Wilkes Booth assassinated U.S. President Abraham Lincoln. Yet before this day, his son Robert Todd Lincoln was at a train depot, most likely in Jersey City. He fell off the platform and into danger of being squashed by train cars. Suddenly, Lincoln was dragged back to safety. As he turned to thank the person, he realized it was the famous actor Edwin Booth, the brother of John Wilkes. The exact date of this incident is debated. The Library of Congress claims it happened in April 1865, the same month as the assassination. Twain's Comet. There aren't many flying space rocks as famous as Halley's Comet, mostly down to it being the only one people can see with just their eyes.
Halley's Comet has embroidered the last 2,000 years of history, having been observed and recorded during each of its passages since 240 BC.
During one of its appearances around the Earth in 1835, it heralded the birth of one of America's best authors, Mark Twain, who came into existence a couple of months later when the comet was at its nearest point of direct orbit around the sun.
Called by many the father of American literature.
In 1909, the Tom Sawyer and Huckleberry Finn creator made an eerie prediction as the rock was set to arrive the following year. Twain stated that he came in with it, he expected to go out with it too. And in April 1910, Halley's Comet made its triumphant return. That same month, Twain passed away from a heart attack.
At the age of 74, Mark Twain died at his Connecticut home on April 21, 1910.
Ominous Omen. It was a film about the Antichrist, and 1976's The Omen was seemingly cursed, as the cast and crew were affected by terrible accidents and near misses. Lead actor Gregory Peck, executive producer Mace Neufeld, and writer David Seltzer each had their planes struck by lightning.
It got hit by lightning. 3 days later, David Seltzer was on the same flight. His plane was hit by lightning.
While producer Harvey Bernhardt was almost hit when filming in Rome, Italy. During post-production, special effects supervisor John Richardson and assistant Liz Moore were in a car accident on Friday the 13th.
He was driving and had a head-on accident.
Moore perished in a similar vein to Keith Jennings in the film. A canceled plane for Gregory Peck ended up crashing with no survivors. One of the animal handlers for the baboons used in the movie was fatally attacked by a tiger the day after filming.
We had all these things happen. Are they omens? Because is there something bigger? I say no, it's just incredible coincidence.
The German November. In 1848, the Schicksalstag, or Day of Fate, began in Germany. which would haunt them for decades. With the execution of politician Robert Blum after the Vienna uprising, the date of November 9th would play a pivotal role in German history. In 1918, Emperor Wilhelm II was removed from the throne on November 9th and abdicated in disgrace after World War I. In 1923, the coup led by Adolf Hitler, known as the Beer Hall Putsch, collapsed on the familiar date. Then, in 1938, the infamous violent event against Jewish people, known as the Night of Broken Glass, or Kristallnacht, began on the same day.
The attackers were paramilitary forces and non-Jewish civilians.
November 9th would come into German play once again in 1989, when the Berlin Wall came down, removing the separation from East and West Germany.
The wall that the East Germans put up in 1961 to keep its people in will now be breached by anybody who wants to leave.
The unsinkable nurse. If you were getting on an ocean liner in the 1910s and saw the name Violet Jessup working on board, we wouldn't blame you for wanting to get off. In 1911, she was a stewardess for the RMS Olympic when it smashed into the HMS Hawk. Both ships survived the encounter. A year later, Jessup was working on the RMS Titanic when it famously struck an iceberg and sank. After all that trauma, we wouldn't blame her for never getting on a boat again, but she did.
Violet Jessup left White Star shortly after Titanic's sinking to work for other shipping companies.
In 1916, Jessup was working on the HMHS Britannic, which had been turned into a hospital ship during the war.
Jessup was rescued. More than 20 of her shipmates died.
The vessel exploded and sunk after hitting a German mine. Jessup continued working on ships until 1950.
She lived alone in this small country cottage until her death in 1971 at the age of 84.
Founding Fathers' Fatalities. July 4th is seen as a special day in the United States of America. After all, it celebrates the ratification of the Declaration of Independence from the UK in 1776. But that summer date also has some dark overtones for the founding fathers of the nation. For starters, the second U.S. president, John Adams, passed away on July 4th, 1826, which was also the 50th anniversary of the Declaration. His successor, the third president, Thomas Jefferson, perished at 83 years old on exactly the same date.
Two of those who signed it, Thomas Jefferson and John Adams, they died on the very same day, and that day was the 4th of July.
Then, 5 years later in 1831, the fifth president of the U.S., James Monroe, also passed away on July 4th at 73.
10 months later, he too died, the third president to die on the 4th of July.
Author's prediction. Better known for his poetry and short stories, author Edgar Allan Poe also wrote one completed novel in 1838's The Narrative of Arthur Gordon Pym of Nantucket. In it, the ship Grampus is wrecked by a storm and has little food and water. So, the remaining crew drew straws to see who would be sacrificed to feed their hunger, and it fell to Richard Parker for this task. Well, in 1884, the yacht Mignonette set sail in real life from Southampton, England. With the ship broken from strong winds and waves, the crew boarded a lifeboat. However, they lacked enough provisions, so they too drew straws. And it was the cabin boy that was selected. To make it more unsettling, his name was Richard Parker. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Timor's Terror Tomb. Timor, also known as Tamerlane, was a ruthless ruler of the Timurid Empire who began his reign in 1370. It's believed he's responsible for the slaying of 17 million people. According to legend, in June 1941, the Soviet Union's Mikhail Mikhailovich Gerasimov and Tashmuhamed Kari-Niyazov led an excavation of the Guramir, the mausoleum of Timur. They discovered two warnings on his tomb. One that stated when Timur rises, the world shall tremble. And the second claimed, quote, "Whosoever disturbs my tomb will unleash an invader more terrible than I." A few days later, Germany invaded the USSR.
In the summer of 1941, Hitler orders a surprise invasion of the Soviet Union.
In late 1942, Timur's remains were reburied at Guramir.
Stalin had then ordered the remains to be buried with full Islamic rites, which according to the legend brought about a reversal of fortune for the Nazis.
By February 1943, the USSR had won the Battle of Stalingrad. a key turning point in World War II.
Victory, but at an incredible cost.
Has a creepy coincidence ever happened in your life? Let us know in the comments below.
We had all these things happen. Are they omens? Because is there something bigger? I say no, it's just incredible coincidence.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.